Hello and welcome to part 3 of building a Banebow deck. If you haven't watched part 1 or part 2, I will have an annotation linking to part 1 now, so click that if you need to go watch those videos. And I'll just wait a second. And okay, we're back. And so I've been working on the deck. Here is the deck. I've updated it, and so I have my abilities and my armor and stuff pretty much set. So what I really want to focus on here is the allies. And as you can see, I'm starting to get 2 of a couple allies that I'm starting to really like for this deck. And there's still a couple ones, but I haven't gone to putting 3 of an ally yet. Just because my deck's kind of big. It's 45 cards plus a hero, so 46 cards. So I don't want to make it too big. You know, I don't want to make it really past 50. But right now, we're not really worried about getting that number down too low. We'll do that at the end. But I'm looking at the allies, and the things that I'm considering when dealing with my allies is, I'm thinking I want a cost 2 ally. 1, possibly 2. But 1 to 2. So as you can see here, I've got Brutalis, Ironhide Crash, and Twisted Familiar. So I have to either choose one of those, or I could possibly have 2 of them and have like a 2-2 split or a 2-3 split or something. And then I'm also having to make decisions about my 3cc allies. You want to have 2 to 3 of those. You can even have 4. Shadow heroes tend to have more 3cc allies than the humans do. So as you can see here, I'm liking Infernal Gargoyle, Deathmage Thaddeus, and Morbid Acolyte in this deck. But I'm still playing around with Death Collector and Wolven Predator, just to see, you know, if I like them, if maybe I want to include them in this deck, maybe another deck. You know, I just still want to play around with them in my matches. And as a little side note, you know, I think Wolven Predator is a little underused. I never see it in any deck. So, you know, I don't know why. He seems like not a terrible card, but whatever. I've still got the Wolven Savage and Magma Jackal in the deck, which are 4cc allies. And, you know, I only have 1. You know, in my thoughts right now, I'm thinking that I'm going to get rid of those because there's many reasons. 1, you know, I have 4cc abilities. I have Acid Jet, I have Perfect Shot, I have Wrath of Forest. You know, I have cards that are 4cc, and putting in allies that are 4cc that maybe aren't necessarily great isn't, you know, what I necessarily want to do. You know, plus, well, okay, so that's that. Okay, then you look at my 5cc allies, which, you know, I got Shadow Knight, Plasma Behemoth, Molten Destroyer, Darkwood Wraith, and Fury and Terror here. And, you know, these are all great, and basically it's just choosing which are good, and, you know, which you like and which you don't like, and basically taking advantage of their abilities is also really helpful. So let's say, like, Banebow, he doesn't have a board wipe. Well, Fury and Terror helps with that. If you need board control, you have Darkwood Wraith. If you need someone who can sit there and take a lot of damage and is a real threat, then Molten Destroyer is good. If your deck is a little low on draw, then Shadow Knight's a good card because you can increase your draw that way. Plasma Behemoth's also a good card because it has its ability, so it can get through stealth. And, you know, it's also, if your deck, if you feel like you're having a lot of leftover resources every turn, then Plasma Behemoth is a good card. So, you know, the other thing that I wanted to mention is you really want to take advantage of your allies' abilities. You know, you want to make sure you have enough allies that have high damage and can damage your opponent, and then you have allies, you know, that can sit there and take a lot of damage, and you have allies that help you with this flaw in your deck. You know, like Banebow doesn't really have a great way of dealing with stealth. So what do? You put in Deathmage Thaddeus. You put in Morbid Acolyte. Maybe you put in Plasma Behemoth. Wolven Predator. You know, so you try to take advantage of those, you know, abilities. But, you know, he's not the worst at dealing with stealth, so, you know, I don't want to put in all of those cards. And see, Magma Jackal, okay, he's really good at taking down allies. in a combination with his ability, perfect shot, poison arrow, you know, Fury and Terror if I choose to include him. Banebow is really good at getting rid of allies on the board. So, you know, Magma Jackal might not be as helpful as a card as, you know, I think it might be in this deck. And so you're making decisions on that. And we have Karos here. I'm not going to forget to mention him. You know, he's good, but maybe not in this deck. He's a really good just tank to sit there and be a threat and kind of, unless your opponent has like a mind control or a captured prey on hand, he's really kind of a frustrating card to deal with. But here is the deck so far. And yeah, so we're right now we're playing solely with the allies. And what I want to do when I'm playing is make decisions based on the allies. I'm not worried about any of my abilities or items anymore. All I want to know is, you know, does this ally fit here? Do I like this ally? You know, and trying to think of other things like, am I running out of draw? Should I add more Shadow Knights? You know, am I doing this? Am I doing that? But let's get into a match real quick so I don't just talk your ear off for the next 17 hours. And we'll see who we're playing against. Maybe it will be a Boris! And he's got 41 cards, so pretty standard sized deck. And I get to go first. So we're looking here, and you know, this Shriek of Vengeance, it's not necessarily helpful against a warrior deck, especially a Boris. So I'm going to get rid of that. Warrior decks tend to rely more on attachments, and even if Boris does have weapons and armor, it will probably be the 6cc or 7cc variety. Meaning he will probably have a Dragon's Tooth, a King's Pride, or that one armor that I can't remember the name of. So now it's my turn, and we're looking. I want to keep this Sacrificial Lamb because it's my draw. You know, and I want to keep the two allies I have in my hand just because, you know, I want to get a board presence and have allies on the board. I think we are going to get rid of this Soul Seeker. I don't mind sacrificing Soul Seeker early in a game because I have two others and it really only helps more mid to late game. And we'll see if he has a drop 2 card. That might influence my decision on whether to bring out the okay. And he doesn't. I still don't want to get rid of a Sacrificial Lamb. He is going to be able to use his ability. I think we are going to get rid of this Perfect Shot. I have 3 others in my deck, so I'm not too worried. And I am going to throw out the Death Collector because he has a higher attack, and so I'll be able to deal a little more damage here than normal. And I'm planning on using Sacrificial Lamb on him anyway. He does get a Blood Frenzy, and he plays that. And ends his turn. And we get a Molten Destroyer, and I'm going to want to keep that. We are going to get rid of this Infernal Gargoyle for right now. Just because Boris is going to be able to kill it with his ability if I play it, so it's not going to be very helpful. And we are going to attack Boris here. And, you know, then his ability, I mean, he's just going to be able to get rid of this Death Collector. I have 2 Sacrificial Lambs. I need to get some cards. So I am just going to use the Sacrificial Lamb on here. And I don't get a card I can play, so I think I will end my turn. And I'm going to hold on to my ability right now. No reason to use it. And we'll see what he does here. So now I have to kind of make a note that Boris has his ability. So I have a couple of options I can do with that. I can try to just not play any more 4cc or lower allies, you know, or I can make some other decisions. You know, we're going to keep this Shriek of Vengeance just in case I want to get rid of this War Banner at some point. I don't know if that's going to be helpful or not. And, you know, I think he's not going to be able to play his Dragon's Tooth next turn. So I think the move here, it's either to get rid of Acid Jet or Poison Arrow. It might be Poison Arrow. You know, I have 2 Poison Arrows, so I think I am going to get rid of one of those. And we're going to play Molten Destroyer. Boris isn't going to be able to destroy with his ability, and, you know, he's a good presence on the board. He really is. And we'll see what he plays here. He still hasn't played an ally. Hopefully he doesn't just have a crippling blow for that Molten Destroyer. But even if he does, I do have Sacrificial Lambs. But we will see what he does here. Dragon's Tooth is whatever, isn't it? 6? You know what? It might be 5 CC, isn't it? I don't even remember it. I'm kind of getting confused. He does play a Christopher Wilde with Treasured Heirloom. And I get a Fury and Terror. Okay. You know, I think... No, you know what we're going to do? We are going to... That's interesting that he played that. You know, we're going to get rid of the Acid Jet here. And I am going to use my ability on the Christopher and Boris. And we will get rid of those guys. And we'll attack Boris with the Molten Destroyer. And the reason I wanted to sacrifice the card there is I wanted to throw out Karos. So even if he does have a Dragon's Tooth, he's going to have to choose which big guy to kill here. He's not. I don't think he's going to be able to. Well, he's not going to be able to kill both on this turn. Now, if he does have a crippling blow, he will be able to use that. But we'll see what he does. He does get his Dragon's Tooth. It is a 6cc card. And, you know, I think he's going to kill Karos. Yeah, I can't imagine not. And he's going to end his turn because, you know, that's all he's going to be able to do. And, you know, I wish I had that Acid Jet. But, you know, sometimes you have to sacrifice cards you didn't want to. So, I'm trying to think. I think we're going to get rid of this Poison Arrow. The reason is I have a perfect shot, so I'm not too worried about that. I think we're going to attack him because that Dragon's Tooth isn't going to kill the Molten Destroyer here. And I have 2 options. I can play the Sacrificial Lamb and get some cards and see what I draw. You know, or I can just play this Fear and Terror, which I think is what I'm going to do. I'll make him choose again. I'm not going to kill one. Because this Dragon's Tooth only has 1 durability, so I don't want to just have him kill an ally and me not be able to really deal with that. But we'll see what he does. I haven't even got another 3cc ally to play for him to destroy. So, you know, I will say that is one thing that has been going really well this match, is he hasn't been able to use any of his Shadow Energy, which is always great if you can prevent your opponent from using the Shadow Energy. He does have a Wild Berserker, so he will be able to kill both the allies this turn. Unless he's choosing to do like a Crippling Blow on the... And that is what he's going to do, a Crippling Blow on the Molten Destroyer. And we do get another Fury and Terror, which is helpful. We are going to get rid of the Streak of Vengeance, because whenever I'm going to use Sacrificial Lamb, I like to boost up my resources. We are going to use the Sac Lamb on the Molten Destroyer. And, so we have a ton of options here. And what I think I'm going to do is use Perfect Shot on the Wild Berserker. I'm going to kill him and damage Boris with my ability. And I'm going to play Brutalis. That way, you know, he will be... If he chooses to kill it with his Shadow Energy, or Shadow ability, which he probably will, you know, I don't really care about him killing Brutalis, you know, and if he doesn't, you know, I'll be able to wear away at that Dragon's Tooth, which is why I think he is going to kill it. Or at least I think that's the smart play here. But we'll see what he plays. He does choose to kill it, and, you know, I'm getting a little behind. I'm kind of frustrated that I haven't gotten a Wrath of Forest. He does get a Alden and Fleet-Footed Messenger, so it's kind of a weird mid-game rush is kind of happening. I do get a Poison Arrow. Let me think. I think what we're going to do is skip. Well, I don't really want to sacrifice a card. That is for sure. We are going to play this Fury and Terror, which is going to damage them 2 each, and we are going to play the Poison Arrow on somebody. 4, 3. We're actually going to play it on the Fleet-Footed Messenger. And the reason being is I'll be able to kill Alden here next turn using my ability and the Fleet-Footed Messenger. He is low on health, which would be a concern for him, but he is getting more control, and I'm kind of struggling in that regard. So hopefully, you know, I don't even know what I'm hoping to get. I'm frustrated that I didn't get a Wrath of Forest yet at all. Oh, and he gets a King's Pride, which basically ruins that whole idea. And I get a perfect shot, which I will take. So he's going to be 4-3. He's going to be... Okay. Yeah, so we'll be able to just kill... We'll be able to kill both of his allies this turn. Which I am going to want to do, considering he has King's Pride and a War Banner out. And, you know, I can play the Woven Savage, but he's just going to be able to kill it. I can play the Shriek of Vengeance, but I don't really know if that's going to help me. So I think I'm just going to end my turn. But he does lose both of his allies. He is down to 7 health. He gets a Gunther, which is great. And another Alden. So basically, I don't know what I'm going to do here. Oh, and I finally get a Wrath of Forest. Finally. Jeez. Would have been nicer earlier. But what are you going to do? Nothing. We're going to end my turn. And, you know, this game is coming to a close. He can do... He won. He can do 14 damage to me this turn. 14. And so if he has a Christopher or a Fleet-Footed Messenger, he's won. So, you know, it's game over. But, you know, so, okay, so what did I struggle with this game? Draw. So, in my mind, I'm thinking having, you know, Shadow Knights isn't going to be terrible. Now, right, most games I'm going to get Wrath of the Forest, not my first one halfway through my deck. I'm going to get it earlier than that. But, you know, it's what I'm thinking when I'm making my deck and other such things. Fury and Terror helped. You know, Molten Destroyer was nice. You know, but I'm going to have to play a bunch of games. And he has a smashing blow. You know, but I will say the other thing to point out is... I don't know. I don't really know. Oh, well, that's the game. Oh, he gets a Dragon's Tooth to finish me off. Okay. But that was the game. Let's recap over here real quick. So I'm trying to... There's a lot of thoughts going through my head. I am so sorry. I just can't even think right now. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking on the allies here. And I'm looking, and what I think I want to do is I want to have two 2CC allies. So I want to have Twisted Familiar and Ironhide Crash. I want to have three CC allies, if you can follow this. Infernal Gargoyle, Morbid Acolyte, and Death Mage Thaddeus, which means Woven Predator and Death Collector are getting the boot. And Brudalis is also going to be exiting my deck. And the other thing that's going through my head is that I want 5CC allies. So I want to get rid of Woven Savage and Magma Jackal here. And I want to have Plasma Behemoth, Shadow Knight, and Fury and Terror. Those are my thoughts. And basically, we're getting rid of Karos because I don't find him too helpful. We're getting rid of Molten Destroyer because he's nice, but I'd rather have allies that have more abilities that I can use directly, more active abilities, while as Molten Destroyer's ability is really passive. And Darkwood Wraith, I'm excluding him because board control is nice, but he has a low damage output. And in a combination of, like I've already mentioned, Poison Arrow, the perfect shot, and Fury and Terror that I'm deciding to include, and Banebow's ability, keeping allies at bay isn't going to be too necessarily, it's not going to be a problem. And even retreating my own allies back to my hand because they have a crippling bow or whatever, I do have sacrificial lambs. So that is what I'm going to do. I should have an annotation up. Tune into part 4. And now that I have all of the cards set, we're going to look at adjusting the numbers and what I do to figure out how many of each card I want in the deck. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Bye.